Next, I'd like to introduce Richard Marquez, who is Lookout's downtown residential manager. He manages 9 residential sites down here. Richard has 20 years' experience in the fields of affordable housing, community mental health, community organising here and in San Francisco. Richard.
Wow. Thank you. The good thing about going last is everyone's saying everything, so I don't need to say anything. I don't know if I can match the passion that Lucy has, or the knowledge that William has as well, but I think we would first begin by saying we've already achieved a victory, I think. And the victory is that this space is not a McDonald's or a pharmacy, but rather a community-based technology center, training and supporting low-income people. So that's huge. I also think when I begin and I look across the street, there is a correlation, as you know, a relationship, nothing new I'm telling you, between displacement and a divide. So when we look across the street, we see multi-thousand-dollar condominiums being built. People, I think, that live in the SROs, that live in social housing, they have to ask the question, what is my future in this neighborhood? What is my future in the city? So I think leading with that, that's where I think the question has to be first contextualized. I want to also acknowledge some of the folks that are here today with us. There are about 4 SRO tenants from Lookout's residential community as well. They've come. Michael from Communications from Lookout. Delana, the life skills worker for a long time. So I guess in short, Lookout is in the house. Our family's here. We're here to support you and to collaborate with you. When I moved to Canada 3 years ago, I moved from San Francisco. And Twitter's headquarters is in San Francisco. It's actually located next to the Tenderloin neighborhood, which is the poorest neighborhood in the city. San Francisco has the widest economic and racial inequality of any major city in the United States. The least amount of African Americans and the least amount of families with children. It's the least affordable of all the cities in the country. So I came to Vancouver and felt at home right away working on You're all welcome. I certainly have the privilege and the blessing of serving this community. Again, Lookout. We've been here for 41 years, since 1971. We serve 5 communities in the Metro Vancouver area, 24 hours a day, 365, including leap years, to men and women. We house approximately 1,100 people each night through our shelters, our transitional housing sites, and our permit-supported housing as well. Essentially, our ethics are about, and our mission is about helping people help themselves. That's the mission that we embark here in the downtown east side. I'm not going to tell you anything new here, but what are the SRO residential areas? I think some of the SRO tenants are already participating in the roundtable discussions, and certainly after this one, and telling you what the prejudices are institutionally, what barriers they have. I think Lucy kind of outlines it even better than I think most of us can. But I think the question that one of the residential tenants raised when I was interviewing a few about this talk was, what is it that you're facing on a concrete, real, genuine level in terms of not getting access to technology or to affordable Wi-Fi? Well, this guy told me, Richard, $70 a month to wire my room, $40 a month for a phone that has unlimited minutes at nighttime and on weekends, and I can't use it during the daytime. There may not be a phone jack in my room anyway, in my suite, at a privately held hotel that's not owned by Lookout. And so that's just me. I had to drive to at least go to the Downtown Educational Center and get trained by Laura and David, who have been incredibly supportive to us here at Lookout. When we met with David and Laura several months ago, we began a conversation. And that conversation was about finding a way for Lookout residents to actually greatly utilize the Downtown Education Center that was right there down the block. And one of the things that came out from that discussion from the residents was, look, we want to be trained, we want to have access, but we're hungry. So if we're going to this training, we will miss out going to the Evelyn Salad food line. We will miss out getting sandwiches. We will miss out being able to get our checks or make our appointments. So that training period is great, but we're going to have to leave midway through it. And we also are hungry. So one thing that we did, which was really not innovative, but we teamed up, myself and Delana, and we decided to approach our shelter kitchen, and we provided bagged lunches to the participants, so they could actually eat while they were being trained and not go to a food line to make that break happen. The smallest thing like that made a huge difference. Hunger, food, and breaking the divide. A few other things I think that are important that are happening in the U.S. and in Canada and globally. I think what we're talking about, I think I would echo what Lucy has to say, it's really about technology for all. We're talking about a grassroots-driven, volunteer-inspired, government and foundation-funded digital inclusion efforts, unseen in the city's contemporary history. We're talking about really mass mobilizing a huge collaborative effort on all our parts for free or extremely affordable internet access. And I'm talking about sophisticated hardware equipment, not something that's donated and left over from 2002, but new state-of-the-art stuff for disabled and low-income people and diverse people. Free citywide Wi-Fi. It should be as sexy and as glamorous and as politically empowering as bicycle lanes in the city.
Yeah.
Last week in the Vancouver Sun, I read, and you may have as well, that 2,500 people registered for HTML 500 training. It was a premier 2015 event, and it was a 4-city caravan event, including Toronto and I think Montreal. And they're teaching this 4-day event people that are far more privileged and have much more wealth and power, I would argue, than the residents in the downtown east side. At this training, they were taught the ABCs of web coding. Conference is hosted by the Vancouver business community. I think we need to challenge them collaboratively here in terms of the digital inclusion. Some people call it a digital divide. I think that's true. But in parts of the downtown east side, like the Tenderloin, next door to the Twitter headquarters of the world, it's digital darkness every day in certain portions. So I say we challenge together these roundtable discussions from the business community, partner up with those that are philanthropically capable of supporting us, and really creating a large movement and inclusion effort that we haven't seen before. This is great here, the digital lab, but we also need to see these kinds of labs, as you know, in the shelters and the SROs. I think Tenant used to tell me in San Francisco that, you know, Richard, give me a desktop in here. This place is so small, I have to go outside to change my mind. Let alone give me a desktop. But these kinds of questions, you know, space and knowledge and usage and access and resources, all these things are part of the discussion that I'm hoping happens beyond this discussion. We need to have computer labs in social developments with families and children and immigrant folks. We need to be able to expand services to Aboriginal folks and communities, both on reserve and off reserve. And that relationship that we discovered at Lookout, where if a man or a woman that has family on the reserve, the wonders of Skyping and having access to be able to channel and to regain connection with your family. All of those things are important. I could go on and belabor you, but I won't. But I think it's about really building a movement of digital inclusion for all and making it happen tomorrow, and that's not fast enough. Thank you.
Yeah.